Joining me now live, Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff, California, member of the House Intelligence Committee. Sir, thank you for your time today.
You bet.
Okay, let's start with Vladimir Putin today and the remarks that he made regarding an act of aggression.
Well, I think Putin, having put these forces in motion, now probably feels compelled to fall through and formally annex Crimea. They're, talking tough in terms of the sanctions, but if we stay our ground and we ratchet up the sanctions, as indeed I think we really have to, we can make Russia pay an enormous cost for that. Right now, the Russian markets have reacted favorably to the first round of sanctions, meaning that they were less than what Russia anticipated. We want really exactly the opposite reaction. We want the Russians to be saying to themselves, we never thought it would be this costly for us to absorb one of our neighbors or a piece of one of our neighbors. So we're going to have to expand those sanctions to go after the heads of their energy industries, to go after their whole National Security Council, to go after their oligarchs and make sure that the pain is really felt.
With that said, why not come out with stronger sanctions than were announced just yesterday?
Well, I think the hope was by starting out with a first round of sanctions and giving yourself room to escalate if necessary, we could still leave the door open for Putin to decide not to annex Crimea, notwithstanding the vote. But it's pretty plain that's exactly what he's going to do. And I think the risk at this point is not that we will provoke Putin into doing something reckless, but rather if we don't escalate the sanctions, if we don't show we're really serious about this, the weakness of those sanctions will only encourage further territorial ambitions on Putin's part.
Let me play with Senator John McCain, who just got back from a visit to the Ukraine, what his criticism has been since his return. Let's play that. I want your response to it.
I think Vladimir Putin must be encouraged by the absolute timidity. The president said we will, quote, consider other options. The president should have said we're going to provide military assistance to Ukraine, and that will be in defensive weaponry.
Obviously, already some of your Democratic colleagues have criticized Senator McCain, saying if it were up to him, we'd have forces in Syria and perhaps a number of other in the world. But what is your reaction to that?
My reaction is that on the military front, Russia really holds all the advantages. We're not going to go to war with Russia over Crimea. Given their military power and their proximity to the region, they would have all the advantages. Instead, where do we have the advantages? We have the advantages economically. We can make Russia pay an enormous price. The Russian economy was already very fragile, and essentially the world working together can put Russia into a painful recession. It will incur some costs on our part as well and that of our European allies. But if we're serious about this, we can make Russia and the Russian people pay an enormous price for their territorial aggression. That is a far more effective and, frankly, less dangerous response than escalating militarily where the Russians have the advantage.
Congressman, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and we hope to speak with you soon. I've got to